Welcome to your next module. So as we move through our next hazard, we're going to look at landslide hazards. And so we use the term landslide just as a very generic term that describes these events. You also hear the term mass wasting, which is more of a geologic term, I suppose. But both are describing this idea of movement of material downslope due to gravity. And so, of course, there are a variety of other factors that impact whether slopes are stable or not, which we'll get into when we talk about mass wasting and landslides. But the typical kind of presentation is going to be your PowerPoint here that you can download and view, or you can go through the video here that walks through the PowerPoint. I've added some additional videos. They just are from YouTube, and there's thousands of landslides / mass wasting videos out there. You may even have your favorite, but these are just a couple that illustrate some of the potential hazards that are associated with these events. And of course, they can be really big events that cause lots of damage. They can be very small events. It's one of the things we'll want to do in our lecture and in the content that we're describing to you is how do we categorize those? How do we name those events? You know, what was that event? And so we'll want to look at the material that's being moved, and we want to also look at how it's moving, including its speed. Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it falling? Is it sliding? Is there water involved? These are all factors that we want to evaluate when we look at these different types of events. And of course, sometimes it's challenging because it's unclear. And so this is why we have some of these, generic terms. And sometimes they transition. They start out as one movement and they transition into another. And so we'll investigate all that. And then, of course, we want to talk about what can we do to reduce the hazards associated with landslides. And so we'll cover all that in the lecture, and then you can go ahead and take the lecture quiz. The article this week is going to be about a specific type of landslide hazard called a debris flow. And it's basically a way for the USGS, the United States Geological Survey, to give information to the public about the hazards associated with this type of event. So you can read through that before you take the article quiz. And then finally, for the homework, I think this week I'm going to have you watch a video. It's produced by NOVA, and it covers a landslide that happened in Washington State, a place called Oso, Washington. And gosh, by now, maybe it was 2015, so it's been a bit. But when it first happened, it was a pretty big deal, and it was unexpected in that, of course, the people impacted by it were unaware. And NOVA did a really good job of going through afterward and evaluating what had happened and why. And so I think it's certainly relevant to what we're talking about this week. So you can go ahead and watch that video. It's through the MCC video library. So make sure you use your MEID and password to log in if you're asked for that. And then there'll just be questions about the video. So fairly straightforward there for your homework. And then for the lab, we're just going to do some more landslide stuff. We are going to use Google Earth. There is a little tutorial at the top of the lab to help you with navigating some of the file importing and measuring and things like that. But we're just going to go through and, like we typically do for the lab, ask some questions. We are going to have you import this Portuguese Bend landslide KMZ file into your Google Earth Pro. And then you want to make some evaluations about this event. This happened in California. So we want to look at this in particular and then, talk about why it might have happened. So that's kind of your mission for the lab there. But you do have that tutorial to help you out if you are unclear of what to do there. So that's what we're going to do this week. And so as always, if you have questions or you're unsure of what you need to do or you're not understanding the content in any way, please don't hesitate to contact me.